guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Green Zone, the most elevated sports podcast. If you guys like what we got going on here, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Be a friend, tell a friend, share it with someone, pass it along to them, and drop something in the comment. Give us some ideas of what you guys want us to talk about in the future, or if you guys liked what we're talking about here, let us know down there. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Now, let's get into the episode. High walking, sky walking, Titan talking football today. That is what we are doing. I'm gonna let it fly off the top. Maybe a little too stoned to be doing this right now, but we're gonna see what happens. Sorry if I go off topic. We'll see how it goes. We're talking Titans, as I said previously. High walking, sky walking, talking Titans. First actual episode I have some interest in, at least from my team and my perspective as a Colts fan. Titans being in our division, a very tough looking division this year, especially given how the Texans and kind of the Jaguars are looking. We'll get to them later on down the road, but Titans did not have the worst of off seasons. I think their off season actually was quite great. Their draft, a little shaky. Free agency pickups were pretty good. Off season trade had some nice acquisitions. Interesting head coaching moves, but we'll get into all of it. Let's talk about it. Where to start? I think probably the first place to start off is the Titans relieved of duties their head coach Mike Vrabel. He was there for 8 years, something like that. He was a linebacker with the Patriots for a long time, playing the Bill Belichick scheme and all that fun stuff. But wasn't really necessarily the Bill Belichick type coach. Did not get picked up by anyone else, which is highly surprising. He always found a way to make the Titans competitive. Interesting move. I mean, I kind of get it. The league has definitely made a big shift to an overall offense is going to win you games. Defense isn't necessarily the team. They're the team carrying. You can't have a defensive forward team. You got to have someone with the offensive mindset, offensive gear towards coaching, or be kind of like Sean McDermott. Hasn't helped them. Sean McDermott hasn't really helped them in the playoffs with the Bills, but he's a defensive-minded coach who have definitely made some poise when their offensive presence clearly is there with Josh Allen. But yeah, so he didn't get picked up by anyone else. Probably one of the top 10 best coaches in the NFL. Very surprising move. I'm sure within the next year or two, he'll have a good job in front of him. He likely didn't want to go anywhere else. I'm sure the only job he would want would be like the Chargers, but that went to Jim Harbaugh. So they hired the offensive coordinator from the Bengals, Brian Callahan. Interesting pickup. Definitely not the worst of moves. It wasn't the complete best move, given her variable status and what he had done with the team previously. TBD, but clearly the rest of the AFC South and the NFL as a whole is gearing towards more of an offensive league, like we were talking about. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. I'm curious to see if he can, make that transition from coordinator to head coach. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I doubt, it just seems like a lot of coordinators these days are definitely flaming out a little bit. They just they go through them so quickly where you get a coach that's definitely proficient and makes your team at least playoff caliber for the most part. Or if not, you're competitive in every single game that you're playing, and it's not like you're losing by a wide margin. Variable. So we'll see what happens. It definitely made it seem like overall this year they are shifting towards offense, and with shifting towards the offense, they are looking to give Will Levis the keys and say, "Hey, go out, make some plays, get the ball downfield, and let's see what you can really do, bud." Second-year quarterback drafted out of Kentucky, second round pick last year. So I don't think Levis is the worst. I don't think he's the best. Could the Titans be one of those teams to kind of shine a little bit this year and show something a little different? That would be fun to see. And the reason why they will be able to do so would be the free agency acquisition. So we'll get into that first. Calvin Ridley, they signed him from the Jaguars into like a 4-year, $52 million deal or something like that. Some insane dollars, probably more than that. They picked up Sebastian Joseph Day, defensive lineman from the Niners. They got Tyler Boyd, wide receiver from the Bengals. Chinedu Awuzie from the Bengals, cornerback, Bay Area native. And then Tony Pollard, the running back from the Cowboys. As we get into that, we'll switch real quick into free agency departures because they lost or didn't lose, but chose not to resign Derrick Henry, running back from the got signed to the Ravens, which was basically their whole offensive presence for the past 5, 6-ish, 7 years ever since he came into the league. So definitely saying, hey, we are not only making a shift to offensive presence, but we're definitely focusing on having the ball getting thrown down the field. Also, Ryan Tannehill is no longer with the team. Could he resign with him as a backup? Maybe, but he hasn't signed with any other team. Probably not going to be back with them. So we'll see. So yeah, definitely lacking a little bit more in the running back position where they had been previously with signing Tony Pollard. He is not Derrick Henry, obviously. That should be a kind of obvious conclusion. But the wide receiver moves they made, on top of having, an older or DeAndre Hopkins, but still a serviceable DeAndre Hopkins. So interesting moves. Love what they're doing with their offense. Unfortunate for us because the Colts are, not the greatest defensive team. That could start changing hopefully a little bit this year, but that division's gonna be tough. That's gonna be a tough division. I'm not entirely sure how it's gonna go. But we'll see, we'll see. Offseason trades. They traded with the Kansas City Chiefs. They traded a 2025 third round pick, or second round, yes, third round pick, and a 2024 seventh round swap. So they switched their picks with the Chiefs, and they received L'Jarius Sneed, and obviously the Chiefs' 7th overall pick. Definitely the right move, seeing how what's his face with the Texans. CG Stroud played with Nico Collins, and having Stephon Diggs. They're gonna need a cornerback to cover at least one of them. God, that Texas team's gonna be nasty. Fuck, dude. Colts team, I mean, it's gonna be nasty too, but that's tough. That's tough. You know, their defense is pretty solid overall. In the draft so let's talk about draft real quick, and then we can talk about the team overall. Um, First overall pick, they took JC Latham, the offensive tackle at Alabama. Roll Tide, baby. Second round pick, they took DeAndre Sweat, defensive tackle from Texas. And then in the fourth round, they took a linebacker, Cedric Gray from North Carolina. Those were kind of their notable picks. They had a few other picks, but they weren't, oh my god, blow your mind type picks. Draft class is definitely looking, yeah. I gave their overall draft picks a C plus. They didn't really do everything they needed to do with the draft, but they did enough to at least protect Levis, which is important. And get a little bit more presence on the defense. Their defensive line is definitely looking solid overall, but linebacker core is a little shaky. I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be something they'll be able to fix, but at least this offseason. Will it make a difference? I don't know, because linebackers aren't really the position of need anymore in the NFL. You need like one or two good ones, but you don't need great linebackers. You definitely need like a great corner, great defensive end, defensive tackle. They do play a 3-4 scheme, so they're gonna have two guys coming up and rushing from the edge, which they don't have the greatest of edges either. But not my defense, not my problem. They'll figure it out, hopefully, or maybe they won't. Maybe we'll just get exposed. That'd be great. As much as I'm talking highly about the Titans, I fucking hate them. So yeah, definitely, like I said, built up the wide receiver class, so Levis has a chance to get the ball down the field a little bit more. Definitely making a focus towards trying to be an air raid offense, which is what the NFL is overall. If you look at the Chiefs, you look at the Bengals, you look at even the Chargers, the Colts are building up that way. The Texans, obviously, the Bills, not the Jaguars, they kind of fell off of that. But if you look at all of the offense, there's usually one or two top-notch receivers, and they got one with Calvin Ridley, they got another with DeAndre Hopkins, they got a third with Tyler Boyd, who's not, necessarily a 1, but he's definitely a solid 2 or 3. They also have Traylon Burks still, who has been a stud for them throughout the years. I don't they're built up they don't really have the greatest of tight ends, which isn't the worst of things for them. There's a lot of great tight ends in the league, but it's not like you have to have one. It could be a game changer, though. Defensive line we talked about, quarterbacks, Awuzie and Sneed. I mean, it's just look like Titans honestly did a great offseason, did a great turnaround. It's a new head coaching staff coming in. It's a whole new staff. Everything's been turned around, flipped upside down. So it could be a little rough the first year. It could be rough season ahead. Could also be a year where we see Brian Callahan as one of those legitimate coaches in the league, and they go, I don't know, 8 and no, more than that. Probably like 10 and 6 or 10 and 7. I don't let's take a look at their schedule real quick. Ooh. So looking at their schedule, they kind of come out with a bit of a banger. Swinging the fences, week 1, they have the Chicago Bears. Which is it's kind of a perfect test, to play against. That will really set the precedent for the whole season, I have a feeling. I mean, we all know that the first 4 weeks of football really are gonna not be able to tell us who are gonna be the best in the league. You have some teams that will go 4-0, 3-1. They're looking like they're gonna be studs this year, and then they flame out. It happens every single year. September, real football doesn't really start till October, November. But it will be a good test to feel a point to see where they're standing, see how their defense is looking, see how their offense is able to compete against a solid defense. Excited to see that one. Then they go to the Jets. Where are no, they're playing at home against the Jets. Another good defense. That's damn, they got a tough schedule. They go Bears, Jets, Packers, Dolphins, bye week. Oh, early bye too. Colts, Bills, Lions, Patriots is a break for them. Chargers, Vikings, Texans, Commanders is a break. Jaguars, Bengals, Colts again, Jaguars, Texans. Wow, that sucks. That is a tough fucking schedule. Woo! Yikes. So if I honestly a good season for them is to get above 500. You go 9-8. Damn, that is a tough schedule for a first year head coach. Brand new coaching staff, young quarterback, second year in the league, tough defenses, tough offenses. Oof. Titans, I'm sorry, man. Not really. I hope y'all don't do great, but that's gonna be an uphill battle. We're looking forward to it. God damn, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be fucking wild. Good luck, guys. Yeah. So if I had to guess, Titans getting somewhere in that 4 to 7 win range. That's a tough schedule, especially with the new head coach. But if they went, 10 wins, would I be shocked? No. Maybe a little. Maybe just a little bit. That's a tough schedule. Good luck, guys. I'll be watching. We got that NFL ticket this year. I'll be locked in. Let's see. Is there anything else we need to touch on? I don't think so, man. My high ass needs to go somewhere else. But we are. That's why they're called the green zone, man. We get a little green, have a good time, talk some football. I think that's all I got, man. We're gonna see if Levis can bring the team to fruition, have the Titans solidified themselves as a team for the future. Probably need a quarterback. Maybe a good idea to kind of suck a little bit this year and get a quarterback next year in the draft that can play in that team because that's a great team that they built right there. But we'll see what happens. Guys, if you guys like this content, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Have a great day. Go smoke some fucking weed and peace.